Hello, everybody. This is Caroline Smith here again with our second part of our art video series. Remember, we're building skills in our art repertoire, or putting tools in our toolbox. So, last time we explored our materials and we tested different amounts of pressure and holding our utensils in different ways. About an hour ago, I recorded this lesson already and then it got deleted. So I'm doing it again, but I'm going to be able to do it even better this time. So that's cool. Um, we're using, I'd like you to use the back side of this page. And then if you like, you can also use this page for additional practice. So you can follow along with me on this page and then go ahead and give it some more practicing on this page. And then we'll be caught up when we do our next lesson on this page, okay? So that way we'll be on the same page. All right, so and you'll notice even I have a little bit of marker bleed through here, but that's okay because it's just practice and your sketchbook full of practice. All right, so in today's lesson, we're going to be talking about drawing what we see. A lot of the time, kids, they want to be better at art and they just draw what's in their imagination. And drawing with your imagination can be a lot of fun, but it can be really hard to draw things realistically. And that's usually what kids want to do. And then they can feel frustrated when it doesn't look um, like the object that they're trying to draw. So by practicing observing and copying the shapes that you're seeing, you'll be able to um, make drawings that look a little bit more realistic. And then when you've practiced a certain thing over and over again, in your mind, in your imagination, you'll already know the shapes of objects and you will be able to draw them even without looking at an image or the object itself. So, um, for example, I have here a chapstick, and I know that there's a circle on this end. I know that there's a circle on this end. I know that this is a cylinder. But when I look at it from this angle, if I were to draw a circle and a circle and connect it, and this is what I see a lot of kids doing, it doesn't really look right because you don't really actually see both circles. Sometimes you can see part of one circle, but then you definitely won't see this circle. Sometimes you can see a lot of this circle right here, but then this tube shape looks a bit different, and you certainly don't see this face of the shape, but you do see that curved edge. So what we're going to practice is drawing things the way that you see them so that it matches how it looks on paper with the real object. So earlier I used a Sharpie and a chapstick and a crayon box, but because I know for sure that you guys now all have your crayon box, tape, and watercolors, we'll draw that this time. Okay, so I'm going to start by drawing my watercolor kit. I'm not going to trace it. I'm actually going to draw it a bit smaller than what it is because it'll take up a lot of my space. But I am going to take my pencil and bring it around the shapes that I see. So I see it's mostly a rectangle. The edges of it are, or the corners I mean, are curved. I can see that there are these hinges right here. Hinges right here as well. Then I can see there's this tag, which has this sort of cutout shape. And then it comes around here. There's a small little flap right there. It's around here. Then I can see these are ovals. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. I know that there are more ovals on the inside, but I actually don't see those. I see this curved line right here, this sticker, which is in a little bit from these edges here. There's also this indentation for this brush. We don't see the tip of the brush, we just see that end. In fact, just to make it cuter, what I might do, flip that brush around so we can see that brush edge. I think that'll look nice. So now we can see that brush edge, the metal part of the brush, the wood part of the brush, and how there's this like thumb gap here. Now that's a lot. We don't have to draw all of it today. And this light space right here is just because it's reflecting the light from my camera. So I'm going to try to draw this, but a little bit smaller. I'm going to take my pencil. I'm going to just trace shape. So I got my curved corner. Line. Curve. And I'm not drawing on the paper there. I'm just doing that to understand the shape. So I have my curved corner, and I'm using a light amount of pressure because I'm for sure going to mess up at least one part of this. And then if it's a lighter amount of pressure, it's easier to erase. That part, a bit shorter than that. Got my beginnings of my hinge. Right there. And then this chunk of line is almost double what that length of chunk of line is. About there. Then I'm going to do that same hinge. I'm going to try to make it look really similar to this hinge as well. Not perfect. Okay. And then I'm coming around about this same distance, so I can even take my fingers. Okay, I want to go to about there. Curve that corner. And look at that. Pretty cool, huh? I'm going to come in just a little bit here and then bring it out. Well, you know what? Actually, because this line does exist, just go all the way down here and then add that on after. So I think I'll do that. I'm going to bring this line down. About there. My other curved corner. Drew it again and then a bit better the second time. That one. This one is going to come, I'm visually sort of trying to line up. Where's that other corner going to be? There. So I'm going to seeing how right about across from this middle section here, there's this extra little, really small little flappy bit. So I'll go to about here, straight line, flap, and again, a pretty straight line right there. Now take a moment and stop and think, what's looking good so far? I'm really liking how this corner looks. I feel like I could improve this corner a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead. That one another. That looks better. This, I didn't erase that very well. I'm going to just clean that up a little bit. There. Not bad. I'm noticing this part's looking a little bit lower than I needed it to be. So I think what I'll do, make that straight for now. Maybe add something later. Now artists are constantly looking at their work, moving their head farther and closer to it, and trying to figure out exactly what they need to make it look more, more what they're envisioning. Now I'm going to draw this little lap thingy right there. And the reason that exists is so you could hang this on a shelf at a, not a shelf, but like one of those little hooks at a store. See, I have like an oval with a circle. So I'm going to go ahead, start doing the circle, oval, like that. Now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know those are extra in there. So if I kind of try to visually cut this in half, I should have 4 ovals over here, and then 2 right here, then then my sticker is going to be. I think what I'll do, draw my sticker. Just curve in it like that. Looks pretty nice. Then half point is here. They're not going to be able to be as big as this because this whole thing is quite a bit smaller. So I'm going to go a bit smaller. Trying to make them the same size. I'm looking now. It's maybe too small. A little bit bigger. Because I didn't use a super dark line, not super hard to erase. Try again. I'm noticing now, I think I made them a little bit too much in the middle and they should be a little bit closer that way. Let's try one more time. Art is not about doing everything perfectly first try, that is for sure. Alright, here we go. 1. Oh, I think 3. 4. 5. And 6. That's pretty nice. Now, are they perfect? Absolutely not. Like I could probably neaten some of these up a little bit. Okay, not bad. Now, see that there's about a little past the midway in the second oval, lumpy thing right there. It kind of is right to that edge right there. I'm using reference points. Line curves right there in the same spot, so I'm going to go right here. That goes to about 4th this way. Little boop, trapezoidal kind of shape to it. Continues under. I know you can't really see that well because of light. And then here, my brush comes to about that same point where that oval is. I'll do that same here. It's just like and it's a little narrow metal portion. Goes to about this part gets a bit thicker, so it actually does sort of touch edges there. Get my line to match what I'm seeing. Okay, now another thing I'm noticing, there's this like shadow, a lot of these, just at that. That makes it look cool. All right, looking pretty nice. As and then a shape of watercolors. That's pretty cute. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's pretty good for that. Now, I I use my reference to draw the shape, and it looks pretty good. Sorry, I had to sneeze. All right. I